Okay, hello everybody. Today's date is August 31st, 2017, and my name is Leslie Williams. Now, this is an evidence video. It is a video to showcase to lawyers and or law firms and any advocacy group that I present this evidence to. Now, I'm just going to fly right into the subject matter. My name is Leslie Williams. I live in La Jolla, California, which is located in San Diego County. I am what is known as an organized stalking, gang stalking targeted individual. This crime is this crime is exposed all over the internet. This crime has been exposed on local news broadcasts, national radio shows. I myself have been on national radio shows exposing this crime, and this crime has also even been covered on national TV. Now, my fellow American citizens, even when you go to YouTube and you type in gang stalking, bullying on steroids, you will see that law enforcement has acknowledged this criminal reality exists because law enforcement is featured within this news broadcast. Again, you can go to YouTube and type in gang stalking, bullying on steroids. Now, what I did is I incorporated a tweet link within the title of this Periscope video. All you have to do is write the characters down, the URL characters of it, on a piece of paper, and then type them in at your URL address bar in order to bring the tweet up. As a result, you will see at least 5 YouTube videos, okay, of evidence, flat out in your face, undeniable evidence, okay, that I am being gang stalked, and that's just 5 videos of hundreds, and I have over 5,000 audio files of identical harassment being perpetrated around me ever since 2011 here in San Diego. And it's now 2017. Now, so when you bring the tweet up, all you'll have to do is click on each YouTube video link within the tweet. And what you're going to be listening for in each of those videos is me, okay, stating that individuals are getting around me and repeating gang stalk, oh my God. The last video, which is a video that I just recently made not too long ago, came from an audio file. What's in the video is a very small section of an audio file of harassment being directly perpetrated around me at the entrance of Bond's grocery store on Arabia Street in Regents Road. Okay, that particular date of harassment was 7/14/2017. Okay, now, I do have on audio file, on several separate audio files, at least 100, okay, of gang stalk and suck my dick being repeated around me in that bonds, inside of it and outside of it. So if I get arrested, they can easily steal it, claim I never had it, and call me crazy concerning it. I'm predicting that right now as well. Now, hold on a second. Periodically throughout this video, I will be checking to make sure that I'm still live broadcasting, so just bear with me. Now, the absolute motive for me making this video and exposing these 5 videos of evidence that are incorporated within the tweet link is a direct payback for a San Diego Sheriff's deputy having the audacity and the nerve to say right to my face that I better get with the program as a result of me being put in a detention center as a result of a staged arrest that was directly connected to gang stalking back on November 10th, 2014. Now, I know you might think to yourself, well, that's a hell of a thing to be doing, to wait this long and make this kind of a statement pertaining to something that happened a few years ago. No. If you had any idea what has happened to me and still is, you would have in your mind and in your spirit a reservoir of things that have pissed you off concerning specific things stepping into your craw and you not forgetting it as a result. And you'll understand as I continue to speak. She basically said this statement to me as a result of me refusing to sign a release form for them to then be able to access my medical and mental records. Like I'm really going to trust a bunch of lying criminal whores, okay, to get a hold of my medical and mental records at a place that I'm illegally and criminally put in as a direct result of a felony act of being tracked to a wooded area and set up for a staged event and then arrested. You know, my fellow American citizens, every day individuals get around me and say gang stalk, suck my dick, gang stalk, oh my God, gang stalk, weird. The only way that can be happening is as a result of illegal GPS tracking of me and covert physical surveillance in order to be able to prop these people up to say these things around me along my routes and at places I go to, including using businesses and employees of businesses. Okay. So, it's bad enough that I got to deal with that every day, on top of dealing with the continued homelessness that this crime intentionally created for me to be in. All my descriptions pertaining to the techniques of gang stalking that I state in this video can be Googled and, when appropriate, YouTubed. So you can see that what I explain in detail, are methods of this crime. Now, when you look at how a vicious bunch of demented animals will create the homelessness of you, the police refuse to investigate anything at all that is happening to you at all, but yet will participate in the crime of gang stalking by and through, but not limited to, filing falsified police reports, incident sheets, and information sheets as a result of them being called by whoever as a result of a staged event being implemented against the target. And then when they come out, they just play their lion whore-ass roles pertaining to what they do concerning the target, and which is part of what I've already aforementioned pertaining to filing falsified documentation about the target. Now, just hear me out. So, when you are subject to, because gang stalking victims every single day are subject to felonies. Absolutely. Every single crime that happens to a gang stalking victim is a felony. They are no longer misdemeanors because they're repeated crimes every day. Okay. Now, so when you're living through the circumstances of being homeless, when you see how your finances are affected because of that, when you see how your finances are affected because of the gang stalking crimes, when you see the massive mental abuse that you deal with every day, which also encompasses sexual harassment, when you see how you're set up for staged events and banned from businesses, libraries, any type of store, any type of business, universities, as a direct result of the gang stalking crime happening to you, you are kept in, under, and through a non-stop campaign of complete mental victimization every day, which encompasses what is known as menticide, where you literally feel mentally raped because you're being victimized, and then when they stage events, they blame you for the event, and ban you, by trying to claim that you're the cause of the event. That's classic gang stalking, absolutely. And the police play every bit of their role in it. I have no sympathy for SDPD, UCSD police, SDSU police, USD police, SDSD police. I have no sympathy for them at all. I am not responsible for anything they have ever done or will do. It's not my problem. I don't give a shit who they're connected to or who's managing them. It's not my problem. Because they do not at all, in any way, shape, or form, have one problem with doing what they do against gang stalking victims. And I am not the only victim here in San Diego, California. And I'm going to give you an example about that by mentioning some of the names of either current and or prior gang stalking victims here in San Diego. And their names are, but these are not the only ones, I'm sure, Beth Donahue, Victoria Rose, Sylvia L. Morales, Marah Shahan, and the woman who runs the website called Stop OR Gang Stalking. And I am absolutely sure that these are not the only victims, but they are, the ones I've mentioned are women. Now, why did not any of them get any help from SDPD? You can also go extensively research at Google and especially YouTube SDPD corruption. Look at what comes up concerning their sick asses. Now, I'm not going to apologize for my deliberations or my attitude concerning SDPD or any of the or any other of the aforementioned police departments that I have mentioned in this video, because I have done nothing wrong. I am the target and the victim of this crime. I have suffered massive, undescribable financial loss because of this crime. I was illegally coerced into taking out repeated school loans because of this crime. I've been made homeless because of this crime, brutally assaulted 12 times because of this crime, and massive other things have happened to me because of this crime, which is still ongoing to this date. And they honestly believe that somebody's going to have the audacity to walk up to my face and tell me, to my face, that I better get with the program. I'm going to tell you something right now, because it's all over the internet, being exposed by tens of thousands of individuals that the police are connected to this crime in every state. Now, that's not an accident. And if you have the ability to engage in what is known as common sense deliberations, you will conclude this yourself by and through researching that statement at Google and YouTube. Because it's being exposed by tens of thousands of people. That's no accident. Anybody that can deliberate common sense. Police corruption and their absolute roles in these criminal realities. The police, their life, their future, their finances, their hopes, their dreams, their lives are no more important than mine, yours, or anybody else's. And so, it is my mental attitude to think to myself righteously that if you had the audacity to come in my life and intentionally, with complete malice aforethought and criminal intent, affect my life criminally, that then produces negative results and effects, and then those effects and results are monopolized on. You had no sympathy for me. I will use you in any way that I can legally to expose you for what you are at all times. Period. And you better remember that. Now, my fellow American citizens, I want you to also know, though, that the police can be gang stalked, so we'll research that as well. Now, you better be careful about what you say to me, because I will not respond to it right there while you're in my presence, but I will always remember it, and then I will circle your wagons and use you against you. So the motivation concerning why I am making this video was because of the absolute complete audacity for one stupid idiot cop saying one thing to me. You better watch what you say, because I will go through hell. I will lose my finances as a result of being set up and put in jail, okay, and lose my finances for it and be a bum on the street and panhandle for the rest of my life before I give up the mental attitude that you do not have a right to say certain things to me, okay? And not after what I've been through, sweethearts. You better watch what you say to me. Everything I do is legal, okay? So when you step up into my mental crawl and try to insult my thinking, okay, and try to tell me that I better get with the program of nonstop victimization, especially after what's already happened to me, well, sweetheart, don't think I won't circle your wagon, and you better hope I never get your name. All right, so what's being exposed today? What's being exposed today is I am being gang stalked at a location off of Arabia Street and Regents Road. It's Vons grocery store. Now, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I looked up at Google Vons and gang stalking and got repeated website after website and pressed enter at Google once I typed it in at Google search. And what Google generated as a result of typing that in at Google, Vons and gang stalking, was nonstop repeated page after page after page after page after page after page of websites that came up pertaining to other victims exposing being gang stalked at Vons grocery stores. Okay, so do you really think that's an accident? Now, part of gang stalking methodologies is that, in part, is that through the cyber surveillance, they know you're exposing them. Absolutely, make no mistake about it. Even Lieutenant Larry Richards of the Santa Cruz Police Department flat out exposed that reality, that this crime has reached out into the cyber world, and at any time you can research cyber surveillance and gang stalking to see that is one of the tools, part of the tradecraft of this crime pertaining to them monitoring all the cyber activity of a selected target individual that they're targeting. They want to do that for a threat assessment and or a benefit analysis, meaning that, but not limited to, meaning that anything the target's doing is a threat to them. Is anything that the target's doing online, can it be used as a benefit to them? So they know that I'm looking up lawyers. They know I had the massive amounts of evidence that I got, and they also know that I'm exposing bonds. They also know I'm exposing MTS, and they also know that I'm exposing the libraries I'm getting stalked to, and the criminalities that are being perpetrated towards me along my routes. They also know I'm exposing the police. So they believe that one of the crimes that's connected to gang stalking is to basically try and make it appear that the crimes and the harassment and everything that's happening to a gang stalking victim is because the gang stalking victim has done something wrong. And therefore the community at large has been brought on board in the harassment of a target to try and run him out of town. That's nothing but a bold-faced criminal lie, and it's done to camouflage the actual intent of this crime. The target of the crime is not just the target of gang stalking, but they're also a target of the criminal motivations of why they're being gang stalked, and human trafficking is one of them, along with, but not limited to, illegal probate control for racketeering purposes, insurance fraud, and human trafficking. There's hundreds and hundreds of criminal motivations attached to this criminal reality, and it's all disguised to make it appear. Okay, some of the things that you'll read online concerning this crime is that you'll see testimony saying that it appears that one of the motives of why a person's being targeted is to run them out of town. That is part of the motive, but it's not to run the target out of town because of anything the target's doing. It's actually being done so they can try and run the target out of community to community to community to community, okay, for at least the reason to run them down financially, run them down physically, mentally, psychologically, physiologically, and emotionally. Okay, because when you're constantly having to move from place to place to place, especially after they made you homeless, they know that that's going to assist them in breaking you down. Because they also know that you're being mentally harassed every day, periodically set up for staged assaults, staged events that produce extreme duress, and they know that the mind and body is constantly reacting to all of this victimization, and including the anticipation of the victimization, because you never know, gang stalking victims never know what to expect next because of the past behaviors that were intentionally repeated towards the target, like repeated periodic assaults, non-stop in between, non-stop mental harassment, okay, having psychopaths congregate around you, okay, and bother you, okay, people who are actually intentionally acting like they got issues. That's enough to make anybody nervous, and that's the goal of it, because to prop people up around you who act like they have issues is their way to cause you to be hypersensitive and concerned about what might happen, because they know, the ones that prop them up know that you know you're being gang stalked, and so you gotta constantly be on guard what's going to happen because of this person being in my physical presence. That's what they want. They want you to be hypervigilant, because constantly being hypervigilant, okay, wears you out physiologically. It causes your breathing to accelerate. It causes you to have to be mentally attentive constantly to the situation. And everything you're accused of periodically during staged events also wears down your defense mechanisms that are in your brain. This is a psychological mechanical crime, meaning that psychological mechanics are intentionally employed. Okay. Now, let's say you're in a Vons grocery store. Let me light this cigarette up, and then I'm going to proceed to giving you an illustration. Is it based on facts? Say if you got a gang stalking victim, everybody's got to eat. So you got a gang stalking victim that goes into a grocery store. Grocery stores in general are already all over the internet, being exposed to be one of the main places that victims of this crime are experiencing it at, because they know that everybody's got to eat, right? Then when you Google also as well, Vons grocery stores and gang stalking, look at what comes up. So, say you're being gang stalked and harassed in specific ways, not just one way, but you can be subjected to 15 different sensitization methods connected to the sensitization tactic of gang stalking along your routes every day, okay? And the police will always make sure they back up the places that are used, the persons that are used, okay? Every environment that's used, and they will always play their role in any type of staged event, no matter where it occurs at, period, end of story. Because their goal is to protect the places that it's occurring at, the people that have participated in it, and to discredit the target on any and all police reports, information sheets, and incident reports. Absolutely. And they are used to commit perjury as well in court concerning the target. That's why I have no sympathy whatsoever for SDPD or any of the other aforementioned police descriptions in this video, because they will ruin your life just like it's passing butter to somebody at a table. They have no mental, regret, remorse. They do not care at all. To them, it's literally just like passing the butter at a kitchen table. They will literally wreck your life, and wreck it to the point to where you're out on the street and eventually human traffic it. They will play their role in it that brings it about, just like it's passing butter at the dinner table. I have no sympathy whatsoever, in any way, shape, or form, at any level, sympathy for any police department that I have ever mentioned in any of my videos. Absolutely not. Because they're involved in this crime. You cannot have sympathy or guilt concerning exposing criminals. Period. End of story. So you go into a grocery store, or let's say you go into a restaurant, okay, where you're going into to get your needs met. And people are getting around you, and they're employing sensitization methods toward you intentionally in order to mentally let you know that you're being targeted with this crime and experiencing mental harassment because of it. Now, a business, any business, at the end of the day, their goal is their bottom line, to protect their assets and their company image. Because if it ever got out that Vons or Rouse or a library or university campus was committing crimes of gang stalking, and since gang stalking is directly connected to some of the most heinous crimes that can happen to anybody, that can happen to anybody, a child, a female, or a male, they don't want that type of image connected to them. Okay? So one of the schemes of gang stalking is to ban you from the environment that you've already been harassed at, so they feel they can then wash their hands of the past and current situation, because once you're banned, you can't come back. They then believe that the gang stalking crime will continue towards you at other environments, okay, and where you live at, okay, until those staged events bring about effects and results. The goal of gang stalking is to never let you recover from what has happened to you, what currently is, and what they plan on doing to you. Okay? The businesses, the universities, the libraries, and the police will just make sure that anybody that's played a past role in it is never sued or criminally prosecuted. Absolutely. And they feel that when they stage an event at any place, a business, library, university, they feel once they stage that event, they will claim the target's crazy. They'll create events, have people accuse you of things, have people complain about you, and then they'll say, well, yeah, well, the last time she was in here, she was complaining to me about being gang stalked. So we think maybe she's got issues. And then the police will come and they'll hear their bullshit. Okay? And then they'll file a falsified police report and even petition the target in the county mental health. Staged events directly connected to gang stalking. And this is done to discredit the target on paper, police reports that I've already mentioned, and even doctor reports. So that way, when the target does magically ever have the ability to hire a lawyer, then all this negative documentation has already been filed against the target, which is then introduced in court pertaining to the civil and criminal proceedings. And this is how gang stalking operates. Vons Grocery Store on Arabia Street and Regents Road, and Vons Grocery Store on Governor Road and Genesee Avenue have played an absolute role in this crime. They will literally damage your property. Okay, like about 2 weeks ago, I made a statement in my tape recorder. Let's see if anybody fucks with my bike at Vons, on my way to Vons, while it's locked up at Vons, while I'm in Vons, and when I come out. I did my shopping, came out, and the brake was broke off. A brand new bike. Okay. So I didn't go back in because I didn't discover it until I got back to the bus stop. Hold on. So the next time after that, when I went in, I slightly mentioned it. I was in a hurry that day because I had to get going, because I had to go to social services. Then the day after that, I mentioned it again. Okay. And they said, well, we're not responsible for what happens outside the store because that's the responsibility of the landowner. And they offered to give me his number. But understand this. That might be the case, but I already know that the destruction of the brake of my bike was connected to gang stalking, because you think for 1 minute. Say you get up in the morning and you decide you're going to go to the bank or Walmart or to Starbucks or even to Vons, and you make a statement in your tape recorder, let's see if anybody fucks with my bike. And then you go to this place, and it happens. A place that has already been indisputably identified to be participants in this crime, and fucking around with your bike and your cars is all over the internet to be methods of gang stalking, including the theft of them. Okay, so it's their way to provoke you to act out when they start bringing something towards you in the store. Okay, to normal apparent excuses. Like, let's say you got a person who goes in the store that might take a few napkins from Starbucks and maybe a few saltines from where the soup is at over by the deli. Okay, they'll have a manager come up to you and say, well, we need this electronic cart for this elderly disabled person. And then as you're taking everything out of it to put it in a cart that they brought with them, they state that they notice you got these saltines and these napkins, and they start saying to you, well, this is the amount of napkins you're taking and the saltines you're taking is something that you shouldn't be doing. We don't mind if you take a few, but to take this amount is not acceptable, and then they take them from you, right? Even though you have at least 75 to 100 audio files of people saying, suck my dick and gang stalk, including employees. Okay? Come on. Now, they're talking about the cost of some saltine crackers and a few napkins. How much money would it cost to get my bike fixed? So when I got to the checkout lane, I go, hey, look, I go, do you guys own Starbucks? Because they were Starbucks napkins. And they go, no. And I said, well, then why would a manager be bothering me about taking a few Starbucks napkins? And they said, well, because since they operate in here, I guess they share the cost or whatever. And they go, you shouldn't be doing that anyways. And I said, oh, okay. And then I go, well, I wonder how much it would cost to fix my brake on my bike. And then the manager went off on me. And he kept trying to get me sucked into a confrontation about that. He even went as far as not let it explain why I brought that up. And basically what he was doing was trying to suck me into a drama, to get me to say that I know that it happened because of gang stalking, while he acts ignorant that he doesn't know anything about the gang stalking of me in that store, and then tries to bait me to talk about it. Now, why would he do that? Gang stalking perpetrators try to suck you into talking about how you're being gang stalked, because they know they're connected to the cops, and the cops know that they've already filed a falsified police report about your earlier reports about people getting around you and saying gang stalking. You understand? So they figure if they can bait you to open up about what you're factually experiencing in the store, and then the next time you go in there, or the time after that, or the time after that, when they stage an event inside or outside of the store or in the bathroom, okay, they believe then everybody will point the finger at you, the cops will be called by whoever, okay, even me, okay, the cops come, the managers will come out and say, well, we've had multiple complaints about her, and she was in here complaining that people are saying gang stalk, which is directly tailored to the falsified documentation that SDPD has already put in the report. And this is what they do. They work together, and that's the gang of gang stalking. You understand? And this is where the conspiracy, the private collusion, and the private solicitation comes into play at. And so that's why I incorporated the 5 videos that I incorporated within the title, or within the tweet that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. I was at a Vons in 2012 at Friars and Frazee Road, Friars Mission Center, Plaza. And I had to call the police on Ross Grocery Store employees engaging in this criminal reality. The video clearly shows me stating that Ross employees are saying gang stalk. Literally shows me telling an SDPD officer this. I then moved to La Jolla and start going to the Vons off of La Jolla Village Square Drive. Christmas Day 2013, I'm in there with a tape recorder, and people are saying gang stalk and oh my god, and suck my dick. So as I'm catching it, I literally walked up to one of the employees and asked for their address. As a result of you hearing that video, okay, which is the second video, you're going to then be able to go to Google and type in that address to see that it's being caught at Vons, a second location on a separate date. Okay, then you're going to be able to see it happening at UCSD, a separate video, an additional video. Okay, and then I forgot what the other ones were. So just look at the other ones that are in it. Then you can go to YouTube and you can type in "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes San Diego Prosecutors and Public Defenders Repeating Gang Stalk Suck My Dick." Oh, the other videos that are in the tweet link show me showing SDPD in Rose Canyon on 8/9/2015, audio evidence of the same kind of shit being caught as a result of it being caught on Thanksgiving Day 2013 in La Jolla and in Yucca Valley, California, which is 170 miles away from La Jolla. So, when you look at those videos alone, you're going to indisputably be able to see that it's been caught at multiple places, at multiple places. And since Vons is already, including at Vons, outside of the front of Vons, that's the last video in the tweet, you're going to clearly be able to see that this is going on, and that any place that's involved in gang stalking operates on a template of behaviors in reference to the staged events. See, when you're being criminally mentally harassed, including people saying "suck my dick," which is so vile, okay, when you see that they know that they're harassing you every day, because one of the main goals in gang stalking is to intentionally form these negative mental associations in your mind by harassing you mentally every time you go in there. Then what they try to do is suck you into an altercation by saying you're doing something wrong. They know then that will incite your thinking that you got a lot of nerve to say I'm doing something wrong with this, while you're getting away with this crime every time I come in here. And this is done to get you to say something about it, including why they broke the brake on my bike. Now, they could say, well, we had nothing to do with your bike being broke. Well, considering the fact that morning and as I got off the bus on my way to Vons, okay, the bus stop is right next to Vons. I said, let's see if they fuck with my bike, and they did. How convenient that they don't have a video camera outside of the store. So their goal is to mentally harass you and then accuse you of doing things you shouldn't be doing in order to try and provoke you to act out. And then when you say something about what they're doing, they'll act like they don't know what you're talking about, and then they'll bait you to talk about it. So then at a later date or on that date, they can say, well, what you're saying, it sounds bizarre. You've already been caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing, so we feel it's best that you don't come back. You understand how it works? Absolutely. Absolutely. UCSD pulled the same shit. SDSU pulled the same shit. Ralph's pulled the same shit. And I anticipate it occurring at Bond in the near future. At any of gang stalking. You know, if you were to sit in a chair in a room and then somebody sits next to you in a chair and constantly pinches you, do you honestly think the person who's being pinched is not going to say something? Of course they will. Gang stalking, harassment, crimes count on you saying something so they can deny their involvement in it and then try and state that your claims sound bizarre and that there might be something wrong with you, and so therefore we feel it's best that you don't come back. Do you understand? Now, and then what they do is exploit the results and effects of you not being able to come back. You got to go out of your way to go somewhere else to go grocery shopping. You got to possibly spend more money on food as a result of you going to more expensive places, and how it affects your schedule as well. So, my fellow American citizens, I want you to know the truth concerning these factual realities. Research what I put in the title of this Periscope video, and you will see truth. And you can also pay attention to the blog that is attached to the profile of the Twitter account that you will be in once you bring up the tweet that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. SDPD, I strongly suggest that you watch your choices. I strongly suggest you watch your choices. And fellow American citizens, when you extensively research cyber surveillance and gang stalking, you will immediately conclude that that is a method that these filthy maggots engage in concerning cyber surveillance, all the targets' communications online. And then when you research the police and gang stalking, if the police are involved in gang stalking and cyber surveillance is a method of gang stalking, you can reasonably conclude that they are observing your videos. So the best advice I can give to all police departments in reference to the gang stalking of me is watch your stuff. Because every single thing you do, I will later fold back onto you and use you against you. Make no mistake about it. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. I do not do drugs. I do not drink, I do not sleep around, I do not steal, and I'm not mentally ill, and I'm not a threat to myself or others. But these are some of the actual labels that gang stalking perpetrators, including police and doctors affiliated to courts and county mental health, will intentionally, criminally label you as in order to discredit you, to discredit the truth you're exposing. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video as a direct payback to its stupid audacity for that San Diego Sheriff's deputy to say the most stupidest thing to me, because check it out and you better understand, I'm not messing around. I am not messing around. I will come after you legally. One day. I'll never stop. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform to expose the truth. Thank you for listening, and let's see if I get arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment anywhere in the next 30 days. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.